Now we are going to see the point of view of people actually building technologies for the industries. And we're going to discuss with them what the hurdles are of actually moving from a pilot to an actual product and to actually to industry to adopt the technology. And we're also going to discuss with them interesting success stories where at the beginning there was a difficult customer, they wanted a pilot, they wanted a proof of concept, they were not sure about the technology, and we're going to discuss what was the turning point and what these technology providers actually did to persuade the customer to see the added value of their solution, and at the end they had a happy customer. So first of all, thank you for being here. I'm honored to have you all here. And I think we're going to have a very interesting discussion. We had 3 interesting talks from the mining, from aluminium, and from the manufacturing industry. And now I would like to hear your perspectives. And I'm actually considering us as core innovation part of the technology provider. So I kind of feel for you. And I think we share the same challenges. So the first question is about what I call as the pilot purgatory obstacle. And the question is the following. So we often see fantastic technologies demonstrated in pilot projects. Yet, many fail to reach mass adoption in the industry. And at least between ourselves, we call it the valley of death of our technologies. In your experience, is this failure usually due to technological immaturity or business resistance? And what is your approach to overcome this valley? Xanthi, if you would like to start.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to start. I would like to personally thank you for the invitation. And thank you for the interesting speeches we had so far, because we all experience the same difficulties. I think the most important challenge on this automation development, let's say, or digital transformation of industries is to select the process that has to be automized first. So they have to take care on what they will start. They are facing lack of personnel and lack of special skills of personnel to start such solutions. So they had to decide on which is the best procedure to start. They have to engage the right departments for that. They have to cooperate. And they have to have the patience to see the results of this first step, let's say, and then trying to scale that up and have a big process and a really change to the return of investment. I think this is something that cannot be done by the beginning, and you cannot industrialize or automize or implement AI from A to Z from day one. You have to wait, you have to train your people, and through this procedure they all change the mentality, and then they are more welcome the new solutions, and they have more patience, they have more ideas, and things can go smoothly. If you are very late to start such a procedure, then you have to do that fast, and when you do things fast, you don't have the time to come back and see the KPIs and how they should be measured in an organization.
Very interesting. Christos, I think you are ready to jump in, so if you would like to go next.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for having me in this panel. So, Death Valley. I think this is something for new companies. Now, with 20 years of experience, Robovision is mature in order to choose products that mainly we can achieve results. In the beginning, it was very difficult because I started machine vision from zero. And in the beginning, the companies are asking different imaginary scenarios about controls, and it was difficult for me to understand if it is something that I can put it in a real project or losing my time. And although now with 20 years of experience and 20 people on our team, I'm the oldest in the company, I'm 55, and the other members are younger, and they're also enthusiastic, and we do projects that are really very initiative. Like the one we make with Nestlé this year with hyperspectral camera, a very new technology and very promising. So now it's much more better for avoiding a project that going nowhere. Thank you.
Do you usually have that you are coming to the customer with an idea? So, for example, for Nestlé, did you come with the idea for the hyperspectral imaging, or it was something that they come to you that we saw it somewhere else implemented and we would like to have something similar?
Usually, our customers are coming. We are like the doctors, so we are making an appointment, and the customer say, "What's the problem?" And we have to choose from our portfolio what kind of solution is the property for this application. So the customer needs the solution, don't matter if it's hyperspectral or 3D imaging or a smart camera or thermal camera, they need a solution. We have to choose if this is viable or if it's something we can do or something we can quit.
Okay, thank you. Fivo, you can use the other microphone you like. You are coming from a different perspective. So with a digital product passport, what is your experience so far?
Thank you very much for the question. It is very important to understand regulations, as we heard, and how to implement them. But on the other side, it's very important to understand how we can use the modern technologies, which currently they are mature enough to do many things. But on the other hand, there is a lack in company culture and how we can utilize them. Because technology is one point, but how we can implement it and harvest its full potential, it's another story. So this means that we have seen many times going to a customer that they have start implementing AI, and we heard from previous speaker about predictive maintenance or prescriptive maintenance. So they have implemented a fancy AI method for predicting something. But, and they were wondering why the results are not improving. And the answer was that it's not enough to simply implement an AI method, simply standalone in a system. You need to see it in a more holistic manner in order to take into account what are the consequences of those outcomes. For example, in that particular case, they were predicting when the machine will fail. But this is step one. But what happens when you predict it? You need to act fast. So they were not acting fast. So this means that their machine was, again, failing, although they were predicting that it will fail. So it was almost useless what they have done. It was a fantastic AI model that they were predicting, but on the other hand, it was not creating any business. And on the other hand, for the digital product passport that you sent, it is very important to understand, okay, the regulation, but how we can use it toward the benefit for our customers. So we have found a way, again, from the previous speaker from Cosmos, we already doing this mapping for information to each product instance, and we have successfully improved the performance of the production system because you have structured information in a human and machine-readable form. So it's a matter of perspective, how you see and how you implement things. The technology, I think, from our side, it's there. I mean, we can do many things, but we need to train and to adapt and to change how we use the technology.
Yeah, I fully agree. This is also our experience. It's like, it's not only about presenting a solution, it's also changing the perspective of the person who actually you are presenting the solution. They have a very specific idea of what to do, of what to expect, but sometimes, since they are not really familiar with the technology or the solution, you really have to change a little bit that perspective to fully utilize the solution and from a pilot to going to fully adapt it. Otherwise, it stops there.
Yes, totally agree. And just to say something in order to close that part, is that we cannot use new technologies with old management thinking. So we need to update that as well in order to cope together.
Thank you. Thank you. Fernando, what is your opinion?
So basically, from the perspective of, first, thank you everybody to all the core meeting for organize this event and to give us the opportunity, everybody, to get together with a common interest to progress. That I think that is very important. Regarding the situation, as technology provider, we are in a point that what we want to do is that goes to market as soon as possible. And for the pilot perspective, at the beginning, the pilot owner, they are thinking that, okay, our problem is that we don't want to be the first. So basically, we have to do in a way that we build trust. So how we can create the solution, implement the different technologies in a way that they can start feeling that in 6 months they have the first results and then we can scale up the different opportunities, the different possibilities. In the case of the technology, one of the things has become a very popular word, the new black. And for example, many times, what do you have in mind? So this morning, Raymond was telling, what do you want to do? And that is the first important thing. In that way is where we can start devising the data models, the scale up, and how we implement the different algorithms that can go to the final implementation of the pilot. And I think that if we we build the trust, we organize in a way that is scale up from MVP, and we try to create incremental steps. That is the direction that we get, that the end user is going to trust, and they are going to see feasible products at the end of the journey. That is a project.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Tomasz, you are handling IoT, meaning that you don't only have to go from a pilot to a fully solution, but you also have to squeeze in the IoT in the whole cybersecurity structure of the client you're talking to. So what is your experience?
Well, I think this is the subject we could talk for hours. But let me first comment on the original question. And if we make one step back, imagine we have a European project or a R&D project, and we have a university developing the technology and user. Then we need to understand that these actors have completely different goals and completely different KPIs. You know, I've worked at a very small company, then at large multinational. I was R&D department manager, then at university, then I started my own company. So I met very different mindset. University is measured by how many papers they will publish and how many patents or how many projects they will bring. So what they are interested in is to experiment, to play, to develop the technology. If this technology is, they say, developed, in my eyes, it's at most 10%. Then we need industrialization. And this is something which is completely uninteresting for organizations like universities, because this will not bring a tiny little point to their KPIs. Then we need users. Again, industry thinks in a completely different way. As we heard today, we are interested in ROI. Industry is not willing to experiment. Let's try this. I don't know what will be the outcome, but let us play. So there is a very profound difference in thinking and goals and needs of these two actors. And when I came to this conclusion, I thought, okay, what could be done? And my idea was that the way forward may be in small companies which will somehow try to join these two worlds. So, and because I couldn't find one, I founded one. And when I met guys from Core, I found the same mindset. So I thank you for invitation at the very end. But let me make one more point. At university, you don't need to think about your customers because you will have another project and another one. At a company, you have to think about customer from the day one. Of course, you can leave on R&D projects, but if it makes more than 10, 20 maximum % of your turnover, then you start thinking in terms of call requirements and milestones. Again, never lose sight of your real customers, real industrial customers. I could talk for hours, but I think.
Okay. Thank you very much, Thomas. So I would like to move to the next question. I will start with Christos. So I would like from each one of you to have one success story about a customer who was at the beginning very hard to get, very skeptical about the solution, and then at the end he was a very happy customer, really celebrating the solution you have implemented. And what was the turning point? So what was like this factor that really made him change the mind? Please, Christos.
So I want to share an application that we are doing with aluminium for almost 20 years. Before Yannis Mamekas saw the interior logistics with the basket that are moving inside of the factory. And the question was about there is a method in order to tray these baskets inside of the factory because they are moving with the clerks in rails and in different points, in cutting, painting, in logistics. So there was some points, checkpoints, that checking the arrival of the basket with a scanner. And there was something very old. In the beginning, to reading a barcode was only able with laser scanners. And they found some laser scanners from US, and they bought the lasers, but the lasers, they have the disadvantage that the laser beam have a life cycle. So then they asked me, before almost 10 years, they have some faulty lasers, and they asked me if I have another laser company that's more reliable. So a proposal to use instead laser cameras, so smart cameras that can read the barcodes. And they use them. They by themselves they try this kind of technology, and then they replaced one after the other all the traditional laser scanners with the imager, with cameras, which is more reliable and have more advantage than the old technology.
Okay,
and after this, they are following all the other industries.
And then it worked.
Yes, but I see today that Cosmos Aluminium, they have full automated logistics, and they don't need this kind of technology. So this is an example that one need of one factory, it's not a need for another factory, even that in the same in the same procedure, and they have similar products. Thank you.
Thank you, Christos. Xanthi?
Actually, all our clients at the beginning are precocious because our company turns traditional forklifts into automated guided vehicles and actually make them to be a robot. And at the beginning, they all ask for a ready product, for equipment, and at the end they realize that they don't want the ready product, they want the solution, so all our equipment has to be custom-made to their needs. So from the beginning, the requests are mostly wrong. So we had a project, a successful one, they call it proof of concept, like they all do, to see the results in their organization and then scale that up as a fleet. We were asked by Dixons, at that time owned Kotsovolos, to develop a solution for clamps. So we developed Clampy. It's a model that actually AGVs are designed traditionally to transport from one point to another, or for a racking service or a conveyor. And we were actually asked to recognize the payload that we're going to clamp. So we had to adjust the dimensions and the pressure of clamping, and then go ourselves into the warehouse, and having no racking system, and stack white goods one by another to actually make the robot build the warehouse by itself. So this large organization owned many factories around Europe, but they chose Greece because they had rented infrastructures, and they said that it's a proof of concept, it will never work, so let's start from there. So I, along with the team of Kotsovolos, we were actually won a prize for that lately. We worked with all their departments so that we have the interoperability into their system and recognize the white goods from the delivery. And we cooperate also with Robovision for the machine vision camera that we developed there. And at the beginning, the turning point you asked for was that to see the equipment being developed and actually perform the requested tasks. But the turning point wasn't that. The turning point was that they trusted the solution and they trust the service. So at the beginning, they had adjusted only a small workshop for that solution, and then they really realized that this service interconnects the deliveries, the warehouse, the stock resilience. So actually, they expand that, and they saw the advantages of a fleet of robots, whereas they didn't believe that a clamp would be turned into a robot, which was the first time to have a clamp with such attachment. But in general, it's during this process, it took 1 year for implementation, installation, training of the people, and the operators, the supervisors of the system, were very negative at the beginning, but at the end they would like to stand for this solution and present it and see how it will go into the organization and bring more result. So I think this 1 year of installation actually changed the mentality of the people that they were involved with that, and see that if they can use AI equipment to bring the solutions in field, then things are running more well.
Very nice. So basically they trusted you.
Yes, fortunately they trusted also us, and they asked for more models.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. In our case, I will say a case that we had from this year, from a machine shop producing aluminum parts and titanium parts for aerospace. So their basic problem was quality standards to compliant wastes, and also complying to the environmental regulation. And as everyone said, that at the beginning, everyone is very reluctant and conservative on new technologies, and how a solution that you offer can help them. So this took us almost 4 months to try to convince them to do a test case. But once once we had the pilot case, the owner of the machine shop was very impressed about the case, but the workers in the production was not very happy, because it changed a lot the normal procedure. And what we implemented for them was currently they had different system for the inventory management, different system for the, for the quality management. Almost they had no system. They had a 5 CMM to do some quality inspection, and that's it. So what we did for them is that we implemented our digital product passport platform. Okay. For those that they don't know, the digital product passport is coming from the European regulation, but we took it and we turned it to an advanced traceability system. What it does, it allows you to keep accurate information about the production. So this means you don't need to do things twice. So you don't need to reinvent the information when you need it. So you save it when it is created, and then you can reuse it at every stage in order to do many things. So how this helped us? This helped us for the quality management because we have accurate information, production information for each individual piece. So this means we could train AI models accurately and we are skipping almost the CMM part, which was the time consuming, and having almost 98% of accuracy on what we were on the quality.
That was visible, obviously.
Yes. So what we were doing, we were implementing what is called virtual metrology, which you are not physically measuring the part, you are checking the production parameters, and because you have them in a high granularity, this means that you can accurately identify any deviations from that. And at the same time, because the digital product passport is about traceability, you could estimate all the environmental KPIs and to automate the compliance to the regulations. So it was very amazed about how this turned, because there was no reporting, because it's automated now, because you have the data, so you can have automated reports. So the only problem was in the production at the beginning, but now everybody, they are working more smoothly, because actually the workers find the information that they want and they don't try to find it. And at the same time, they organized more, because they follow a strict protocol about how they do at least the information management. So this means it is easier for them now to work it like this.
Thank you, Fivo. Thank you. I'm just asking shortly for your patience. We are finishing. It's the last question, and then you can also go for lunch. Just a few more minutes.
Thank you. I am going to come back to some of your comments, particularly Tomasz. Regarding we industry, we have different models than the RTOs. And for example, that is important when we do a project, that we try to go to next to market validation in the last quarter of the project. So basically, in that way, we try to go there. And for example, during the COVID, all what we developed regarding the digital twin in the projects, we were testing already in the factories, because where the technology they were requiring because the workers cannot be present. But if I had to go to one project that I really like, it was another project in the pharma industry, packaging. And half of the project we spent trying to convince them to implement the technology. And first we start with one module of the cell, and when later we scale up using the digital twin. And we managed to prove that we can go from concept to operation 40% faster. So that is very impressive. So in that moment, our bottleneck was the time to get the hardware. We had limitation to get the controls hardware, and that was our bottleneck. But we managed to show that if they want to deploy a packaging cell for a new medicine, they can do 40% faster, and they can implement at the same time, minimizing errors, improving quality.
Yeah, but it's 40% is like an impressive number. So
yeah,
talks on its own.
In fact, they realized the potential of the project, and they start introducing the new pilots to check that they can validate.
Thanks, Fernando. Tomasz.
Being the last one isn't always so easy, because I should somehow try to get back the attention of the audience. So when you, coming back to your first question about the valley of death, not many people remember that after the valley, if we overcome the valley of death and we have successful product, like the stories we have just heard, we are entering something what people call Darwinian sea, because we aren't the only ones. We are small fish trying to swim and eat something, and the pond is populated with other fish. Some of them are small, but some of them are big, and they want to eat us. So what do we do to feed ourselves and not to get eaten? This is the question. And now coming back to the industry, we approach industry, and my name is Tomasz. You may have heard about the story of doubting Thomas, the one who has to touch to believe. So I realized once that the whole industry is actually a bunch of doubting Thomases, because they understand that with Paint or with PowerPoint, you can create anything you want, even before the age of LLMs. So it's always the same. Let's try it, let's touch it, let's test it. So we go into pilots. And now my story comes. We saw the benefit of European recovery funds when we had a customer from food industry for our predictive maintenance vibration-based system. And because of the recovery funds, they didn't thought about they didn't think about 5 sensors. They thought, okay, let's install 100 sensors in one go for the whole production line. That's what they did. But they also asked us, you know what, we have 700 valves. Can you monitor these as well? There is no vibration, but you will figure out something. Because they get stuck, they get friction increases. So we had to sit and think and create features which will be somehow similar to the features we know from vibration-based condition maintenance. And since we successfully completed the project, then our main goal was not to just, tick the box, project is done, money is cleared. Deposited, yes. Our goal was how to make this customer believe in our solution so that our system becomes the standard offering in their manufacturing lines, which will also lead to change of their business model, because suddenly they have lots of data. And as you mentioned, it's not about knowing that something is going to fail, it's acting in a proper way. Because often it's normal that equipment fails, but we mustn't allow for unplanned outages. So I remember once I got a question, I was much younger than today, and I made some vibration envelope analysis. I was excited to tell manufacturing manager, you know what, I know that on your outer ring of this bearing there is a fault, and you can watch at all these pages of the report. I said, Thomas, frankly, I like you. So I tell you, I don't care which part of my bearing is faulty, because I'm going to replace the whole bearing anyway. What I'm interested is just one thing. I'm stopping the line at 15th of December. Can I make it or not?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Tomasz. Thank you very much to all of you for the very inspiring stories. I think they keep us going, and they keep us believing in doing what we do. That concludes the session now. You are released for lunch. The time is 5 minutes after 1 o'clock, so we meet again at 2 o'clock here. Enjoy your lunch, and please applaud our speakers. Thank you very much.